malaria, and ultimately the frequency of malaria in India became less. But again, in 1973, malaria came back. These are known as diagnostic studies. You find out what was happening in the past, why was it happening, what can be done. Again, it has come back. What can be done? So this is as a diagnostic study. Another type of research is called evaluation studies. Evaluation studies means, say, for example, you have a policy, Beti Bachao policy. Or you try to find out the effectiveness of that policy. So when you find out the effectiveness of that policy, this is as the evaluation type of research. Action research, again, for addition of malaria, you need some medicines. That medicines can be given to people, and we actually eradicate malaria. During COVID times, so many types of vaccines came in, and ultimately there was an eradication. Number of COVID cases became lower due to vaccination. So those are known as action research. Experimental mostly in the in science, physics, chemistry, biology, also has been applied to sociology and psychology, where you experiment and try to find out. Your experimentation becomes the most important method in your research. This is called research, research. You develop mathematical models, or you have statistical techniques to solve the research problems. Historical research, where you study a history through photographs, through newspaper clippings, and you do and you contradict the past and the plan. In history, what the tense has done is been good or not, whether it will be applicable in the future or not, whether we can anticipate it in the future. Survey research, it is a very common type of research where you research and you try to analyze that research. Case study research is also very common, where you have an in-depth investigation of a particular case or of a group of cases, and then you try to generalize it. So these are the type of researches generally which is there. If I can go back, number one was a pure and applied research. Number two was exploratory research. Number three is descriptive research. Number four is diagnostic research. Number five is action research. Number please use your chat box to convey the message to me. Yes. Everyone is clear. Fantastic. Fantastic. Yes. Fantastic. So, till now, we know the background of the research. We know what is research. We know what are the five things we should remember. What are the five things we should remember to carry on a research? And we also know, we also know that the different types of researches. When you are doing, suppose you have done some type of a research and you are in two minds of writing a research title, there are actually, I wanted to share this with you when I'm doing fundamentals of research, that when you're selecting the research title, you just can't select a research title. You have certain rules of selecting a research title. The rules are, If you ask me, madam, where is it written? It is not written anywhere. These are the rules which are coming up nowadays, modern rules which are there. Okay, like, and I, as a researcher, always feel my most important challenge is to get a good title. I don't know about you all. How many of you really feel you really struggle with having a good title? If anyone can please write in the chat box. If you can use your chat box, can you write the research title very easily, or you struggle with it? If you can use your chat box, please. Struggle. Geeta is like me. She struggles. I also struggle. Yes, yes, yes. We struggle. So we all sail on the same boat. Let us understand this now. So, friends, whenever you are deciding a research title, remember three things: BCM, brief, be brief, because if you write everything on the research title, what are you going to write in the research paper? Be clear, be meaningful. So remember BCM, maximum words which a title can have is 15 words. And it should be so simple that after reading the title, it should be like a mini abstract. The reader will have a quick picture in her or his mind, easy to remember. Always remember, research title is read the most. Okay, it is read the most, because sometimes the research titles are so tough. I'm not able to understand only. So you cannot have a brainstorming session just to understand the research title. So the research title should be very, 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 very simple, and maximum 15 words, not more than 15 words. That should be the rule. Let us discuss some two examples I've brought. Now, see, the first title is, in USA, this musicians who are having red hairs, they're very famous. Okay. And in fact, you will find that many in cultural studies, there are many researches are being held regarding these red-haired musicians. So take, for example, we are doing a research on red-haired musicians. So I make a title like this: Red-haired musicians and their preference for musical style. Same thing, I write in a different manner: music style preference of red haired musicians. Now you use your chat box to tell me which one is better, title number one or title number two. Both convey the same thing. Please use the chat box to tell me. Shobha, title one. Everyone, title one. Geeta is also title one. Ria, title two. Revati, two, title one. Okay, okay, okay. Now, see, I myself feel title two is better. Nothing is wrong, title one. But if you give me these two choices, I feel title two is better. I tell you why. Title one has red haired musicians and their preference for musical style. Why should I use and there? Instead, I've written music style preference of red haired musicians. So it has become shorter and much more straighter. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with me? Yes, you agree. So, what happens? Yeah. So, what happens, friends? What happens? You write two, three titles, and then you read them. Read and think. Then only you will be coming to a right title. Now, I have another title. It is very short and sweet: African Politics. Do you think it is good? Yes or no? Write down in the chat box. the African titles? Is it African politics? Sorry, African politics. It is a right one or no? Some more, some more, some more. Yes, majority are saying no. My reply is also no. Because it should not be so short that people don't understand only. African politics, what of African politics you are studying? That should be written no. Yeah, it does not, Shobha, you're right. It doesn't give any hint of the topic. Very nice. Because it is just written African politics. अरे क्या पढ़ने का है African politics में? वो तो बताओ. So it's an incomplete topic. Go right you are. Because it should not be so short that it does not convey anything. Let's go to another one. A study to investigate the education level of dash 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 anything. Is it right or a study to investigate the education level of dash dash dash? Is it right or not? It's correct or not? It's correct. Yeah, Ria. Yes, complex. Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah, the last part I did not write. Yes. Yes. What happens, Yeah, it's too long because something is wrong with a study to investigate. If you have to investigate, you have to study, no? Yes or no? If you have to investigate, you have to study. You cannot have investigations without study. Then why to write a study? Just write to investigate the education level of dash dash. Yes, Manali, you're right. You're using extra words I have used, which is wrong. Just write to investigate the education level of dash 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 dash. So, friends, did you understand the intricacies of the title? Yes or no in the chat box, please. Yes, yes. So always make 2, 3, 4 titles. I always do like that, and then you read them where you have unnecessary words, where words are much very nice. It is clear now. Fantastic, fantastic. So, every one of you in fundamentals of research, when you do these fundamentals, you will have to remember. Then only your research paper will be a productive one. Now, in a research, there has to be a problem. If there is no problem, it is not a research. You agree with me? Yes or no? Fast in the chat box. In the chat box. What? Yes. What is a research? A research means you are finding a solution. So if you do not have a problem, there is no need. अरे इतना मेहनत क्यों करने का भाई? There is no need to have a research at all. So you have to have a problem. So friends, problem I always feel when you are doing a research, the problem is the most important thing. Problem is the core of research. If you do not have a problem, there cannot be any research at all. So the question arises, many students comes to me for doing PhD, madam, problem nahi mil raha hai, problem batao na madam, so we can do a research. Problem एक दिन में नहीं मिलता है मेरा friends. What happens, when you see the world around, you have your subject, you see that, you try to find out what is the problem going on. Take for example, where I stay, nearby there is a slum, and every day I see, or maybe the maid servants come in, they have waterborne diseases. So if you ask them, no, क्यों इतना waterborne, क्यों इतना डायरिया होता है, क्यों ऐसा, मैडम इधर उधर का सब गंदा पड़ा रहता है. That means what? Untreated sewage pada rehta hai. The sewage is not treated. So don't you feel, my friends, those who are in social sciences, this can be a very good problem. Yes or no? That why the sewage is untreated in the slums. And because of untreated sewage, there are waterborne diseases among the slum dwellers. So this itself is a problem. So like that, you look around, give time. The other word of research is patience. एक दिन में research आपका होता नहीं है. Many students who come to me for doing PhD, they say, madam, 2 साल में हो जाएगा ना. I generally avoid taking the students. I always say, madam, you have come to a wrong person. Because research PhD is something you do it, mostly we do it once in a lifetime. अरे enjoy your research. क्या फर्क पड़ता है 1 साल बाद मिलेगा तो कुछ नहीं. But enjoy your research. वो जो time पे the whatever you learn, no, that will be there for your lifetime. In future, you can do fantastic research, which not only will help you to develop as a researcher, but college will also benefit from that. So try to find the main heart of the research is your problem. Try to find out the problem and follow the research methodology. Follow the research methodology, then find out a solution. So that is a proper research. From the problems, you write down the objectives. Okay. Now, don't write many objectives. It should be 10, 12, 15, so objectives, or neither very less. It should be 3 to 4 objectives you write, and when you write a objective, in modern researchers, they don't write like to investigate. We don't write like that. It is just like taxonomy. We use better words to determine, to develop, and make such objectives. So from your objective should always match the problem. This is my problem, and from the problem, this is my objective. Okay, and make such which is measurable and achievable. Definitely, you should understand whose hypothesis where sessions will be there. You have to develop and alternate hypothesis. Now, null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis oppose each other. Or, for example, I am trying to research on number of in colleges attendances of them. Okay, so we do our research on number of lectures and final examination scores. So, one hypothesis I take as hypothesis I take number of lectures attended has got no effect on examination. Alternate hypothesis I take number of lectures has got a positive effect on final year final examination. So after doing that, you either accept null hypothesis and reject alternate one, or you reject null hypothesis and accept alternate one. So hypotheses are developed in research. Literature review, very, very important. Some people think that literature review is not very important in research. It is very important. It's very important. I said when I began my talk that research is something new, which others have no point doing it. So you have to find a gap in research. You have to find out what you are doing is not done by others, or maybe it is done by others, but it has been done by others, and maybe it is done some other area. It's been done by others, but you are using a methodology. So you have to identify the gap in research. Identify the gap in research. Literature review is very, very important. So you see 3 photographs in my screen here. In the first, you see the man is jumping from to another. But what does this mean? Meaning that it takes time. Literature review, I always say, starts the research and it ends after it goes on. Okay, so literature review is very, very time consuming. But if you really do a good literature review and if I find out journals from different books who have studied about it, your research quality improves. So that is why they are up in the center, because your research quality really improves. And review is a continuous process. Very, very important. You have different sources to do literature reviews. You have books, you have articles, that on your subject, you have newspapers, historical records, commercial reports, government reports. You also have thesis and dissertations. So there are different sources that depends upon your need and depends upon your subject. But one thing, what is the research cat in the picture doing? Saying that Wikipedia is acceptable at all. Please do not use. Yeah, madam, please shortly explain what exactly literature review is. Yes, I will do that. Literature review means that from you have decided a particular topic. Take for example, I have decided the topic as to study how the sewage can be treated in the slums. So what do? I find out, I go to the library, I go and find out different books, I go and find out different journals, and see who else have studied. That is literature review. So you do citation, and then you try to find out how they have studied. And then you also to study or how your work, whatever your thinking is different. So this is known as literature study. You find out similar works. Similar works. That is what literature review is. And nowadays, in fact, literature review has become very, very easy. When we started our we had to go to the library. Now library comes to you. You have a digital library also. E-libraries are there. Even books. Generally say that you should not take anything from website. It is it's not knowledge information. Google Scholar, you have so many number of articles, so many theses, books, abstract. You can always take, and there's an option of library where you can store the books, you can store the research papers. So Google can always use. So we have different options while you can find out who else have studied, in what way have studied, and how your research is new. Then you have to bring in research. So main thing why you have to study this research, do literature, you find out the gap, and you have to fill you can study international works, you study national works, and so on. Okay, now I think this literature, it is cleared. If you can put in the if you put your chat box, literature review becomes second on its own, how to write literature review, how it can be and on, but I have done it fine. Now, in a research, when doing a systematic research, you need to show the coverage, covering, you need to show the data source, you need to show how you're collecting the data, what type of data, primary data, you need to show what analysis. I think tomorrow data analysis sessions are there where they do how with primary data and how and I will do this in very short. Generally, for second data, sources like official reports, we have official websites, we have cloud-based database, many news articles. So, published, you are using that. You are compiling existing information, and you are making use in your research paper. The primary data you have to collect. There are different ways by which you can collect the primary data. It can be survey, it can be questionnaire, observation, ethnographies, and so on. There are different ways depending on your stand, how you collect your primary data. So when doing a primary data, you're doing a questionnaire. Your questions can be open-ended questionnaire, closed-ended questionnaire, can be mixed questionnaire also. When you're doing it can be case studies or it can be short case studies. An interview, it can be a face-to-face interview, or it can be a telephonic interview as well, or sometimes it can be write-ups also. Podcast now is used. You can use a short film, use the map also. So there are different forms of interviews which has come that depends upon your study. As I said, observation is also a take. I will give you an example of the tribals. So you sit there, you observe them, and you come to a conclusion how they're in their day, how they interact, excuse me, how they interact with people, every action. So that is observation also in research. So this way is done. When we are speaking about fundamentals of research, one thing you should not forget, which is taken up in a very big word, is research ethics. You have to be very, very ethical. Somebody asked me in the chat box that why, if you can explain this literature review. What is the need of a literature review? You know, when we take for example, you are doing a research, and that research has been done by somebody else. A has done. So you are taking some ideas from the papers, from the research of A. So when you take some ideas from somebody, you have to give his her name. That means you have to provide citation. If you do not provide, there is nothing wrong if you take ideas from some other people, but you have to mention, give due credit to that person. That is called research ethics. Very, very important. You have to give citation. In the reference, you have to write down that so and so's book. There is a format also for writing. Everyone, if you know, APA format is there, MLA format is there. The different formats. So you have to give due credit to that researcher whenever you're taking some ideas. So this research ethics is very, very important now, because you know copy paste had become so common. With due respect to all the researchers in the platform, you know, copy paste had become so common that UC has taken a very big step on research ethics. That is why whenever you're doing PhD, research ethics course has become common. Everywhere, plagiarism testing has become common. You have to have plagiarism. The papers should go with plagiarism testing. Then only they are accepted. Because being ethical in research is very, very important. Now, we will discuss some case studies now. Okay, so I want the answers to be in the chat. We will really understand that ethical, we understand the concept. Now, take for example, there was a group. Okay, now this group had two students. They have made some measurements. Okay, can you see? Can you see? They're on the graph. All the points are on the graph, on the line. But there are 2 points which are below. Just a minute, I'm getting cold for the call. 1 second. Hello, Girish. Hello. Hello. Hello, Girish. Give me a second, please. You know, this is the drawback when you become a principal. Give me a second. I'm so sorry, but give me a second. Girish, bolo. आराम से कॉलेज में आराम से ठीक है sorry. Yeah. So, so what did the two students do? They removed this 2 points because they did not wanted this explanation. They wanted all the points to be on the graph. Now tell me, this is ethical or not? Yes or no in your chat box. It is not ethical. Yes, it is not ethical. Whatever your result is, you have to be shown. You just cannot remove it like that. So, sometimes we do something very unknowingly, my friends. We feel that it nikal jayega to kya badi baat hai. It is unknowingly, but it is an unethical behavior as far as research is concerned because it is falsification of data. I have removed 2 points from my data. I am producing a false data. Now, another group is there. This is very interesting. A group of medical students conducted a research. Fantastic. I think I have 5 minutes. I'll just finish in 5 minutes. A group of medical students conducted a research on the awareness of diabetic diet in medical clinic participants. Now, the research was recognized as the best undergraduate research. Very nice. But later, they submitted the same research paper to two different journals to see which journal publishes it first. It is right or wrong. It is right or wrong. It is wrong. It is wrong because you cannot submit, yes, you cannot submit the same research paper to two different journals. You can submit it in one journal. If it is not accepted, withdraw it. If you want to do any change or without change, then only you can submit to the second journal. Otherwise, not. Two different, same paper, two different journals at the same time is an unethical behavior. On's idea of the number of publication should submit to one journal, wait for the response prior to submitting the another. Very nice. Group 3. Students are required to prepare a research proposal. Okay, very nice. There was a student called Neemal. The Neemal developed the idea for his project and discussed with a friend. Very nice. Several months later, he found that his idea had been submitted as a research proposal by his friend without his knowledge, right or wrong. It is definitely wrong. It is definitely wrong. You cannot take somebody else's idea and put it in your name. Yes, you can put it in your name, but you have to acknowledge your friend, isn't it? You have to acknowledge your friend. It is plagiarism, or you can add him as a co author, whatever. Last group. 4 friends decide to work together on a research project during a vacation. One of them went abroad during the vacation and did not contribute to the research. The friends include all 4 names in the presentation made at the scientific congress. After all, friends, no, we help. But is it right or wrong? It is also wrong. It is also wrong. Yeah, because you are he has not contributed, so you cannot you cannot take his idea. Huh. There is group 5. A group of undergraduate students collected data from a group of bank officers, okay, with their consent regarding their working hours and salary, whatever. Subsequently, the researchers gave the same data to another group who were in the need of the same data variables. Can you do it? Whatever you have collected, you have done. Can you give it to another friend? You cannot give it. It's very, very simple. So you see, sometimes it looks very simple, but you are leading to unethical principles. So you have to be, when you are doing a research, and we are talking of fundamentals of research, unethical behavior is something which has to be taken up very, very clearly. Plagiarism is something which is something we have to take. You can definitely borrow from others' work, but when you have to borrow from others' work, give due credit. Mention their name in the literature review. Mention their name in the reference. Then there is no problem at all. Otherwise, please do not use it. Plagiarism is something which is taken up there are different types of plagiarism which I'm not discussing, but I'd like to discuss 4 different types of major plagiarism which the Indian government has taken up. Something it is called potluck paper. Potluck paper means what? You take something from, you take some ideas you take from everyone. Take for example, I take some ideas from Revati. I take some ideas from Sarah. I take some ideas from Ria. I take some ideas from Saira, and then I make a paper on my own. So nothing is my idea. Everything is taken from different areas, different people. So that is called potluck paper. You have potluck lunch, it is a potluck paper. Highest form of plagiarism. Photocopy. Take somebody's a part of the thesis, then publish it as an own name. No. Self-stealer, very important. I have written a paper 2010. The same paper, thoda idhar udhar karke, I publish it in 2023. So I am stealing from myself. Self-stealer is also a highest form of plagiarism. Ghostwriter. Ghostwriter means what? It is a highest form of plagiarism. You copy everything. You take everything from another person. Only maybe the name you change. 99% plagiarism. It is called the ghostwriter. So these are the major types of plagiarism. But plagiarism you should avoid. Major thing what you should avoid is that whenever you take ideas from somebody, you give credit. You write down in citation. You write down in the reference. You have no problems in your research paper then. Generally 10% is accepted, above 10% is not accepted. If it is goes to more than 10%, under section 63 of the act, of the Copyright Act of 1957, it is a violation. It is a violation, and it might lead to imprisonment, it might lead to compensation as far as money is concerned, and so on. So what are the tips for preventing this plagiarism? You have to keep a track. Whenever you go to the library, and take some ideas from different books, you write down the names. Make very good quality notes. Give credit to others. Cite the sources very nicely. You cite the sources and be consistent. Today you go to the library, tomorrow you don't go. Again, 1 month you don't go. Again you go. ऐसा करके research नहीं होता. You have to keep a regularity in research. Plan in advance. Thoda karke, do a bit every day, but do some type of researches. We are, after all, academicians. We should do researches. Avoid plagiarism, but sometimes human error can happen. But generally, we in academic world, generally we should not do such mistakes. Such errors are not acceptable. Nowadays, different tools are there. Although online mode also, free ones are there, but I will advise you not to use the free ones. Go for licensed copies. If your college is not having it, you can go to the university library, or you can go to the colleges who does it, who has this your licensed plagiarism tools. They will do it very nicely. They will do it for you, and then only you submit your paper. In research, plagiarism has become very, very important now. So whenever I'm talking about fundamentals of research, definitely you know what is research. You follow the thumbs of rules of research. You know the different types of researches. You have a problem. From the problem, you have found out a good objective. From the objective, you have developed the hypothesis. From the hypothesis, you have developed the data collection, data analysis. But one final thing you have to remember, you have to be very, very original. Don't copy from others. You can take ideas from anyone, but it is you please don't copy from anyone. It is not a crime. I'm not saying it is a crime, but it is an unethical conduct. But in research, there cannot be something which is unethical in nature. This is known as publication pollution. We have water pollution, air pollution everywhere, and this is called a research pollution. This is called a publication pollution. So I wish all of you good luck with your research. Please do follow the steps. which I have given you. And I am sure this will help you to, I'm able to improve your confidence in research, and every one of you will have a fantastic life as a researcher. So today's flow of presentation was the background of the research, rules of thumb, types of research, how to build up a research title, how to develop a problem statement, from problem statement, how to have objectives, null and alternate hypothesis, why review of literature is important, what is a data source, and I ended with research ethics and plagiarism. I hope it will be beneficial to everyone, and thank you very much. If anything you have to ask me, please do.
Thank you, madam, for a very engaging, thought provoking, and insightful presentation that you have made. Now, if the participants have any question related to the topic that we have discussed, they can put the questions in the chat box. Madam will answer those questions.
I hope it was, meaningful and helpful to everyone. That is our motive.
Yeah, of course. Participant, you can directly post your question in the chat box.
Yeah, I think Akanksha has some question on the scope of the research. The scope of the research means, take for example this. I took the example of this slumka, untreated slum. So if you do this research and you submit it to BMC, that can be applied to all the areas of Mumbai. So your scope of research is very high here. Take, for example, you're doing a research on eradication of malaria. So if you do a research on eradication of malaria, that has a national scope because so many people are suffering. So that depends upon your subject, your problem which you are referring to.
Any question? I think the session was crystal clear, and so therefore there is no questions from the participant end. And so towards the end of the session, I, BT Shisa, as a coordinator of the session, take the opportunity to express gratitude towards the resource person of the session, Professor Dr. Moshmi Datta. Madam, you have really engaged a meaningful and thought-provoking session for all the participants. And I'm really personally impressed with the way you presented all the relevant point in a very lucid manner. I can say you have constructed a strong foundation for this 2 days workshop on Research Horizon. And with this foundation, I think students will be able to explore the new height of research knowledge. And for that, on behalf of management, on behalf of administration, teaching staff, and all the participants, I extend my deep sense of gratitude to you for orienting us on the topic of fundamentals of research. Thank you, madam. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you very much. Once again, thank you from the deep corner of my heart. And I'm very sure that it will be helpful. Thank you very much. Yeah. Sir, I'm leaving the session. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, madam. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much. And I wish you a very successful.
Yeah, madam. Thank you, madam. Participants are requested to stay connected. In next 10 minutes, we'll be starting with the second session of the workshop. The title of the second session is Research Based on Primary and Secondary Data. And that session will start in next 10 minutes. You can have a 10 minutes break, but you need to stay log in. Don't log out.
Recording stopped.
Hello, Pallavi madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Pallavi ma'am, can you hear me?
You are better.
Okay. So ma'am, we can start the session now and just give instruction to the participants.
Yes, ma'am. Please.
Ah.
I hope I'm audible to all of you. Before starting the session, I would request all the participants to please give yourself a mute. Audio and video, please turn mute and please turn off the video as well. Madam, may I please start with the session?
Hello.
Hello, am I audible to all of you?
Hello,
Yes, madam.
Pallavi madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, actually your voice is too low, so it is not audible to many of the participants. So just
Can you hear
check
me
the
now?
connection.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I hope I'm audible to all of you now. Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, but your voice is too low.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah, I hope it
Ah.
is audible.
Yes,
Is
now
it
it is.
Yes, so
Yes, ma'am, you can continue now.
yes, and good afternoon to all. I welcome you all for the second session on research-based primary and secondary data. We are honored to have Dr. Shraddha Bhome as a resource person for the second session. Here I take the privilege to introduce Dr. Shraddha Bhome. Dr. Shraddha Bhome has pursued her master's, MPhil, and PhD in commerce. Madam has been teaching for past 18 years at UG and 9 years at PG section. Dr. Bhumi has 8 years of research experience. So far, 15 students have successfully completed PhD under her guidance and 3 have submitted the thesis. It is a matter of pride to announce that Dr. Bhumi has 3 patents and 1 copyright published with Government of India. Madam has written 78 books for various universities for undergraduate students and 3 for postgraduate students and 3 reference books to her credit. She has authored and co-authored and also presented more than 137 research papers in national and international conferences, of which 50 plus are awarded as the best research papers. In addition to this, Madam is also on the editorial board of 5 journals. She is a recipient more than 10 state, national, and international awards for the contribution in education and research. She is also invited as a resource person in more than 60 plus colleges across India to deliver various sessions in research methodology. Dr. Bhumi is member of Board of Studies at 5 colleges across University of Mumbai. Recently successfully completed GST practitioner course from IIM Skills, and Madam is currently working as the principal at JK College of Science and Commerce at Ghansoli. With this brief introduction, now I would request Dr. Shraddha Bhume to begin with the session. And before beginning the session, now again I request participants to please turn off the video and also keep yourself mute. And if you have any queries,
Recording in
please
progress.
put the queries in the chat box, which will be taken later on. So please over to Dr. Bhumi. Madam, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Pallavi ma'am, for the introduction. We would like to, begin with the session. But before that, I must thank the organizing team of KV Pendarkar College, Dombivli, and also Principal Sir for giving this wonderful opportunity to share my little experience in research among you all. So, without wasting time, I'll start sharing my screen and let us move on to the title Primary Data, Secondary Data, and at the end of the session, I'll be guiding you how to draft the questionnaire. Live demonstration of questionnaire will be shown to you in last half an hour. Are you all ready for experiential learning? Yes? You can unmute yourself and you can speak. Or you can write in the chat box. I can, have a session and I can see the chat box and I can answer you very well simultaneously. Okay. Already PPT is being shared with organizers. So do not ask in between for PPT, and PPT. They will be sharing the entire content at the end of the day or maybe tomorrow as per their policy. There is nothing in PPT, but yes, of course, in explanation part. So I request everyone, I will not take more than 1 hour, 20 minutes. Last 20 minutes, live questionnaire we will frame, and then we will end up with your Q&A round. Fair enough. I was listening to the last speaker a bit. Madam has explained you all about what is the difference between the topic of the research and the title of the research. Then she has also explained you, how to find out the gap and review of literature. And Madam has also explained very nicely the scope of research and so on. So moving ahead towards data collection, methods and tools, and designing or drafting a questionnaire. So you all know, right? You all know what is data. Data is nothing but some information. So why do we need a data collection? Because the process of gathering and analyzing accurate data from various sources will help you to find answers to the research problems, to the trends, and to the probabilities in order to evaluate the outcome, which is known as data collection. So, knowledge is power, information is knowledge, and data is information. So, we need to find a proper data. Hence, data is a power. But before you can leverage that data into successful strategy for your business, for your PhD, you need to gather it. So, gathering of data or collection of right information is the first step in your research journey. So, to help you to get the process started, we shine a spotlight on data collection. What exactly it is, believe it or not, it just, it is more than just doing a Google search by sitting at home. There are various types and ways of collecting the data as you can see on the screen. And various tools and technique exist. So if you want to get up to speed about what data collection process. Here, I would like to start my presentation with you. Before moving towards what is data collection, first understand statement of problem. For example, I as a researcher, I have read somewhere in the magazine or in the newspaper that there is some article 4 years before in the newspaper that junk food is banned from the college canteens. What I said? Junk food is banned from school and college canteens before 4 years. I have read that article. So that has reminded me one problem statement. What can be the problem statement or what can be the research question? Majority of the canteen business is running on junk food, that red pakoras and that Chinese well, which our students do eat. So the researcher in me have started thinking of Googling the information. How many schools are there with canteens? How many colleges are there with canteen? So do they provide the junk food? If they are providing the junk food, what is the percentage of their business through junk food? So I started searching the primary as well as secondary data. यहाँ तक समझ में आया सबको? Yes or no? So now I have started collecting the data, information. ऐसे सब आर्टिकल्स जिसमें ये चीज लिख के आया है, पब्लिश हुआ है, ऐसे आर्टिकल्स मैंने डाउनलोड किए. They are literatures written by you, me, anybody. So whatever I have downloaded, I will read, I will analyze, I will synthesize, and I will critically evaluate. 4 स्टेप का प्रोसेस करूंगा. Reading, analyzing, synthesizing, and critically evaluating the things. So I will come to the research question that yes, students in the canteen college loves the junk food. There are multiple reasons for it. So I, as a researcher, started thinking of what can be the alternative to the junk food. Or as a researcher, what do I do a research that college canteen will get the same business like the earlier one, although colleges are banned with junk food. So मेरे में से रिसर्चर जाग उठा. उसने ठाणे डिस्ट्रिक्ट के कुछ कॉलेजेस का 5000 लोगों का सर्वे किया. What does the survey means? I have not only read the articles, analyzed them, synthesized them, and critically evaluated them, but yes, also primarily on field. कॉलेज के बच्चों का ओपिनियंस समझ के लिया. कैसे? With the help of either survey or Google Forms or with the help of focus group interviews or one-on-one techniques by speaking with you, I might have collected the information from you. So, data collection is the process of collecting and evaluating the information or data from multiple sources to find the research problem. to answer the research question, to find the outcome and forecast trends and probabilities. So it is an essential phase in all types of research, analysis, and decision making, including that one in our own social science research. So, accurate data collection is necessary. Why? To make the information or to make the informed business decisions, to ensure the quality assurance, and to keep the high research integrity. समझ में आया आपको? So during data collection, the researcher must identify data types, sources of data, methods of being used. So this is how data collection is important in research, in commercials, and in government field too. So before an analyst begins the data collection, so you can break your data, moving on to next slide, in quantitative and qualitative data. But yes, before moving further, I would like to ask you a one question. Why do we need data collection? Why do we need a data collection? Can somebody say, why do we need a data collection? हमें डेटा क्यों कलेक्ट करना चाहिए? Yes, you can write in the chat box. Manali is saying to analyze the representation of universe, okay, for effective research, to analysis the core problem. Okay, okay. So more or less your answers are here and there. Fair enough. So before a judge makes ruling in a court case, or general creates a plan for attack, they must have as many relevant facts as possible. So the best course of action come from informed decisions, information, and data. So we need to collect the data. The concept of data collection is not a new one. As well, we see later, but the world has changed. There is far more data available today on Google and online sources too. It exists in the form that were unheard of century ago. So data collection process had to change and grow with the time, keeping in pace with technology. So whether you are in the world of academia, trying to conduct research, a part of commercial sector, thinking of how to promote a new product, you need data collection to help you make a better choice. So dear participants, very honestly would like to highlight certain important things. Certain important things. That is, I said you the example of junk food. So what I did as a researcher, I had a patent on alternative to junk food. When colleges and school canteens were banned with junk food, I have started preparing the questionnaire, which we first distributed in our own college. Then we have divided it in Thane urban area part and exclusively the colleges, degree colleges in University of Mumbai. So that came into the innovative idea that I should prepare a product which is like in test at equal or less price, and when parents are not at home, kids can prepare it. So these were the research variables kept in mind while designing the actual product in the market. And finally, it was new one in the market. So the reason is I could file the patent on it out of the three I have. Am I clear to everyone? Am I clear? Okay. So moving ahead, we will go for what is quantitative data and what is qualitative data. Have you heard the word qualitative and quantitative data? Yes? Okay. So you have heard. So what is qualitative and what is quantitative? Can somebody from you speak on that? So qualitative, नाम में ही है उसमें quality है. So qualitative data is nothing but which characterizes, which is observed and recorded. So it is non-numerical data. So this type of data is collected through observation or one-on-one interviews, conducting focus groups or similar methods. So statistics, qualitative data in statistics is also called as categorical data, which can be arranged as per the attributes, properties of things or phenomena. So qualitative data is important in determining the particular frequency of traits or characteristics. So it allows the statistician or the researcher to form the parameters through large data set which can be observed. So in qualitative data, perceptions, emotions are documented. So it helps the market researcher to understand their customers' language and solve the research problem efficiently and effectively. Am I clear to all of you? Am I clear? Okay. So now about qualitative data. While surveys can still be useful for data collection in qualitative research if they are created with open-ended questions. So this research method tends to employ tools such as observation, interview, or focus group. So this is because qualitative approach and quantitative approach. Both approaches differ with each other. So here I would like to highlight certain pros and cons of qualitative method. Qualitative data, is utilizes non-numerical metrics. So it experiences attitudes, experiences, and it also studies the narrative descriptions instead of large statistics. So with qualitative data, constructive ideas can be developed. You can identify certain interesting patterns among them, so that will help you to have the trend setting with audience. So this approach is offering you all the greater things, or greater insights into why people behave in certain way, which I don't will, or I will not possible for me from viewing the numbers alone. So this is qualitative data. There are certain steps in which you can go for qualitative data collection. Arrange your data properly, analyze your data, arrange it systematically. Arranging data means converting all the data into text format. You can either export the data into spreadsheet, or manually you can type each questionnaire लेके लोगों ने उसका क्या feedback दिया है, and or choose any of the computer assisted qualitative data analysis tool which is available free of cost on Google. Then organize all your data systematically. Arrange your research objectives in tables so it appears visually. Then the third thing is set a code to the data collected. So settling up proper codes for the collected data will take the process ahead. So the coding process is one of the best way to compress the tremendous amount of information, और किसके लिए क्या कोड दिया है, you should understand. The next process is validating the data. That is one of the biggest sardard for the researcher. Similar data is quite essential for research, ensuring that data is not forwarded. See, we need to know the accuracy of the research and reliability of the research. That is coming under validation process. Then conduct the analysis process. So here I would like to give certain examples of qualitative data. Think of a student, fine, who is reading the paragraph from the book during lecture. So a teacher listening to the reading that may give certain feedbacks on how child reads the paragraph. So how the child reads paragraph, I ask you to write. So that is qualitative data. Am I clear with the concept? Hey, you can unmute and you can speak, please. Qualitative यानी कि नॉन न्यूमेरिकल, उसको हम काउंट नहीं कर सकते, तो इसलिए उसका आंसर्स भी ओपन एंडेड होता है. Second example, which I would like to highlight. Teacher gives the feedback about the student, about his fluency in English, intonation in English, then word throwing capacity of the student, pronunciation clarity, without giving the child a grade. So in that case, it is a qualitative data. और उसको कितना मार्क्स आया, कौन से पेपर में मार्क्स आया, कौन से पेपर में कम आया, कौन से में ज्यादा आया, एवरेज कहाँ पे है, ये सब चीज जाएगा आपका क्वांटिटेटिव में. और ये बात हो गई आपकी क्वालिटेटिव की. समझ में आ रहा है कि बोर हो रहा है? So it is easy to understand the difference between qualitative and quantitative, right? Now, let us move further. Qualitative data is over. Now we'll begin with quantitative data. So it is the quantifiable information which can be used for mathematical calculation, statistical calculation. This form of data, it will help you to make the new real life decisions on mathematical abbreviations or mathematical derivations. So quantitative data is used to answer questions like how many, how often, how much, or WH and how questions. So, we need to verify it, we need to validate it, then only we can go for the part, analysis part. So, data collection in quantitative research. Quantitative data is simply the value of the data in the form of counts or the numbers. So where each data set is unique and numerical in the value. So it makes, measuring various parameters collaborative due to ease of mathematical derivations they come from. So there are various sources by which or types by which you can find out quantitative data. You can have the quantification and you can go for first observation and with certain questions. So that is most important part in any research. So ideally there are survey method. Surveys, traditional surveys were conducted using by pace of, papers, and gradually in online mode you give it to Google Forms. So close-ended, open-ended, combination of close and open-ended questions are the major part of these surveys. So survey includes answer in only one option, close-ended questions, multiple choice questions fit in this category. Am I reaching to you? Okay. So, online interviews you can take face to face or telephonic or computer assisted also. So, there are multiple things which you can do with open ended questions. So now certain steps to conduct quantitative data analysis. First, relate measurement scales with variables. Second, connect the descriptive statistics with data जो आपने आगे collect किया है. Also, decide the measurement scale by you. Generally, people take 5-point scale and select appropriate table to represent the data and analyze collected data. These are the steps in following. Certain examples, if I would like to give you here. I have lost 10 kgs weight in last 3 months. So 3 months, 10 kg weight. Both is quantifiable. So it is quantitative data analysis. So this is quantitative and qualitative part. Now moving ahead, we will see what is interview as a first technique of data collection. Madam, slides will not move unless I move it. And I have said there is nothing on slides, understand and learn. Am I clear? Somebody has written that in the chat box. We can, refer the slides, but the information flow, we can't. Geeta ma'am, you are not missing anything. There is nothing in the slide I have announced in the beginning. Thank you. So now, as you can see on the screen, there are three main types of interviews happening in niche. So first is personal or online session, online interviews. Second is focus group. And third is telephonic interview rounds, right? As seen on the slide, personal is one-on-one interviews. Second is online and offline method. Focus group, you can focus on 6 to 7 people and you can get the information very nicely. Third thing is telephonic interview, or nowadays we don't have to even talk with person sitting and asking the question, but you can type after beep or like that systems are available. हिंदी के लिए एक प्रेस करो, मराठी के लिए 2 करो, इंग्लिश के लिए 3 प्रेस करो. Then they say 1, 2, 3. This is nothing but their language of understanding. So whatsoever you press, you will get the information of that particular content through IVRS, Interactive Voice Response System. Am I reaching to you? What is happening? Yes. The second method is nothing but schedule. Schedule क्या है? Schedule is just like your questionnaire. Okay, when you try to meet the people and you try to grab the information. So schedules are the one you can get the information by meeting the public in actual, and you can also go and ask the questions. So schedules are being filled in by the enumerators who are specially appointed for the purpose. So enumerates go to the respondents, ask the questions from the proforma in the same order in which questions are listed. So they are not using their brain, but replies on space given. So enumerators should be trained. Example, population census. These are schedules. I hope I am clear again. Is the slide visible? Next one, surveys. What is survey? Can anybody tell? Geeta ma'am, can you tell me what is survey? Write in the chat box if they are not allowing you. No issues. Yeah, survey is data collection method, of course. And it is investigation, of course.
Hi, ma'am. Uh, Ma'am, survey is a method in which we primarily use questionnaires and we collect data. We use both kind of questionnaires in that, and most of the questions are also self-administered. Like in mail survey, we distribute, but mail survey has a problem of less response rate, whereas personal survey increases the response rate. And with internet's advent, now we can spread our questionnaire to many people across the globe and we can collect the information. So it's a primary method. The tool used is questionnaire.
There is a difference between survey and the questionnaire. Very first and foremost. First, ये याद रखो. समझ में आया? There is a difference between questionnaire and survey. Survey, you may test one, or you may want to pre-test the survey. You can pre-test it. How? By administrating it to the focus group during its development stage. So you can try out few different questionnaire designs in order to determine which resonate best with your target audience. But in questionnaire, you directly go and then you keep on finalizing your questionnaire and asking others to get the answers of it. Okay, so surveys are different and questionnaires are different. Am I clear to everyone? So as seen on the slide, there are four types of surveys you can conduct. The first is mail survey, Daklaya, which is now going out of the traditions. Then you can meet in person and you can take the survey. Then you can send the email to the mass email IDs and you can complete it. And finally, over a telephone, you can conduct the survey. Now, the most common, but yes, most useful method of data collection, which is questionnaire. I just come in a second. So, a questionnaire is nothing but a list of questions which every participant or every researcher could write for. So, questionnaire is to be proper, need to focus on objectives, hypothesis of the study. You must cover proper objectives and proper hypothesis in order to have the effective data collection and in order to have the proper analysis, results, conclusion of your research work. So questionnaire design is a multi-step process which requires attention to detail at every step. So researchers are always hoping that the response received from the questionnaire is easy to understand. So if questionnaire is too complicated, there is a fair chance that your response might get confused. The person might not fill out your questionnaire. So your questionnaire should be catchy, your questionnaire should be attractive, your questionnaire should be nice so that person should feel like giving the information. So in order to avoid the duplication of work or in order to avoid this kind of problem, every researcher must do the pilot study. What is pilot study? Pilot study is a study. Suppose you are studying 1000 people. So meeting 1000 is not possible. Or maybe you have met them. But after meeting them, you have understood, oh my God, there are some aspects which I have not covered in my research. Now what to do at last moment? So before all begins, at least 10% of the sample you choose and you do the data analysis, write down working paper on it, and then go for final data collection. Many a times, you know what happens? Students research projects. They write impact of GST on hotel economy. They prepare the questionnaire, but they didn't get so much of responses. So they ask their friends or neighbors, to fill up the data. So that is not accuracy of data, which you need to maintain while doing a research. So pre-testing is good practice as the survey can comprehend the initial stages. If any changes required, you can even do in that. So now understand how to design the questionnaire. Yeah, before moving ahead, ideally any questionnaire should have some aspects. The very first is open-ended questions, yani ki end is to be kept open, broad, to the person to write keep on and on and on. Then close-ended. You may end the close, or you may close the end. That is restrict their answer to just pick one or multiple answers. Then dichotomous questions. These are the questions who will give answer like yes or no. Only dichotomous, two answers. And yes, finally you can have the pictorial one. Pictorial bole to the person who are not able to read, write, rewrite उनके लिए. So ये हो गया आपका pictorial question है. So this has to be the part or format of your questionnaire. So it is a combination of open-ended, close-ended, dichotomous, and multiple choice questions to be considered while framing the questionnaire. Am I clear to each one of you? Am I clear? Now about secondary data, you all know books, journals, magazines, newspaper articles. These are all various methods of secondary data collection. So these are available to all of us. in the form of books, journals, research papers, magazines, newspaper articles, laws, bylaws, blogs, e-things are available. So this is a questionnaire. Now, we will be preparing in the live mode another 20 minutes the good questionnaire. Are you ready for it, participants? सबका फेवरेट टॉपिक लेते हैं ऑनलाइन शॉपिंग. Are you with me? चलो ऑनलाइन शॉपिंग बोलेंगे तो आप क्या बता सकते हो मुझे ऑनलाइन शॉपिंग में? आप लोग ही बताना. पहला चीज तो हम लोग अगर कंज्यूमर्स के लिए कर रहे हैं तो कंज्यूमर का जनरल इंफॉर्मेशन लेंगे, यानी कि पर्सनल इंफॉर्मेशन. समझ में आ रहा है आपको? डायरेक्ट इट्स अबाउट बाइंग द प्रोडक्ट्स ऑनलाइन ऐसे क्वेश्चंस नहीं पूछेंगे, but we will ask them. We may say we have the study of consumers' perception towards online shopping. Am I clear with the title? Yes. First, we will collect the data from customers. Very true, very true. We will collect the data from the customers. चलो तो क्या डेटा कलेक्ट करोगे आप? मैं एक ये वर्ड फाइल शेयर कर रही हूँ जो ब्लैंक है और हम अभी बनाएंगे. Is the screen visible? Okay. So this is the word file. You can see. कुछ तो गलत हुआ है. एक सेकेंड. ठीक है. We'll share another screen with you. Is this visible? Yeah. Now see, I am preparing a questionnaire related to online shopping and consumers' behavior. So for this, we will have the general basic information about the customers. क्या होगा हमारा? General basic information about the customers. So इसमें gender, age, marital status, life stage, लाइक यंग है, डिपेंडेंट है, या यंग है, इंडिपेंडेंट है, लेस यंग है लेकिन इंडिपेंडेंट है, फैमिली विद चिल्ड्रन, क्या है? सो बहुत ही ज्यादा डिटेल में गई. Then I have written a type of customer, whether he is a student or a professional or a salaried class or a business class, housewife, whatsoever he or she is. Then I have divided them as per the qualifications and annual income. Are the basic points clear in general information? Then, once I have completed basic information from the respondent, it is now my duty to move towards my objectives of the study. Down the line with objective and hypothesis, as a researcher, I should start developing the questionnaire related to objectives. Maybe my second objective is to find out the shopping pattern among the respondents. So shopping related information, like do they really buy online? What impels them to buy online? How frequently do they buy from online? What type of products they buy from online? So I will try to have the combination of open-ended and close-ended questions. Am I clear, dear participants? Am I clear? Now, moving further, see the questions in second part, which are matching to my objective too. Have you had any experience in buying the products through internet? Yes, no. So this is a dichotomous question. If yes, how frequently you use? If yes, what type of products you purchase? When you buy the product online, what procedure you follow? How frequently you visit the website? How often you purchase through online? And what is the amount you purchase through online? समझ में आया? So I have divided the section as per shopping pattern or shopping behavior. With this, my second objective of the study will be fulfilled. Am I clear to each one of you? Yes? Now, moving ahead to my next objective of the study. अभी मुझे समझा कि लोग कितने लोग प्रेफर करते हैं, कितने नहीं करते हैं. तो I may go for certain ranking questions with the choice of customers, that why do they buy online, or reasons behind buying the products in online mode. So I have written several variables like security, easy usage, speedy, saving of time. Then it deals with various offers. Then wide range of choices are there. So quick, and you don't have to go here and there. So energy gets saved. Lot of parameters are written as per the opinion of the people. So have asked them to give the ranking between 1 to 10. 1 will be the most influential, 10 will be the least influential. See, I have defined that. So this is nothing but coding in data processing. समझ में आया आपको? Now down the line with next section, I will ask 5-point scales, scaling techniques. This scaling technique is very useful for data analysis. So I will ask strongly agree or disagree or strongly disagree or neutral. So 5-point scales are given to the people to pick for. The questions like again, instructions are delayed in web are clear. Then website has related links so that customer is able to get maximum information. So this question section number 3, it's completely dealing with the positive side towards usage of online shopping. Various questions are framed with 5-point scale or Likert scale method. Then, as you know, people are aware about online and they are using online shopping. I have further divided the question about satisfaction level of people. So for that, again, certain statements are framed, and the statements with Likert or 5-point scale, the person has to write. Because I get order on time, better product I am getting. Uh, uh, I shop because I love to be online. Varieties are available. Browsing minimum करके हमें पूरा information मिल जाता है. So overall customer satisfaction, we may ask in the end of section 3. Is this clear to all the participants so that you can lead to proper data analysis with respect to customer satisfaction towards online banking? I have started with, are you aware of online banking concept? वहां से लेके satisfaction level of the customers. Hope I am clear to all of you. Yes? So a questionnaire is a sheet of paper which contains questions related to certain specific aspects regarding which the researcher will collect the data. So collection of data is most important and integral part of research when you know the qualitative and quantitative data. So moving further, would like to highlight certain part with you. The best way to understand how questionnaire works is to see the type of questionnaires available. So customer satisfaction survey अगर करना है आपको, तो this type of research can be used in any situation where there is an interaction between the organization and the customer. So you might send a customer survey after someone eats in your restaurant. हम लोग रेस्टोरेंट में जाते हैं तो हमें रेस्टोरेंट का खाना खाने के बाद एक छोटा सा पर्ची आता है and we keep on ticking about our experience like customer service or overall ambience of the hotel or the staff who is serving, was he well dressed and all. So that is generally the customer satisfaction survey. Then product usage and its satisfaction. So you can prepare this template like product trend and similar products. So this will also collect the customer's preference about the types and also the perceptions of marketing competitors of you. Then company communication evaluations. So unlike the other examples, company evaluation looks external and internal communication. So external आप बाहर से information निकाल सकते हैं, लेकिन for internal communication You can check the policy documents of the organization. You can check the board meetings of the board, who communicates with employees and clients. So these are various types of surveys you can evaluate, you can understand, and you can execute. Absolutely, additionally, the standardized answers of a survey is unable to, instead of person to person conversation, make it easier to compile the unusable data or the data which is not very easily available. You can go for data collection with these questions. Any doubts to anyone? Do you want me to show the slide of questionnaire once again? Shall we develop one live questionnaire with you all? Last 5 minutes. Take the title as a study on customers' attitude towards junk food. A study on consumers' attitude towards junk food. Yeah. So पहला क्वेश्चन क्या आएगा? Basic information, name, age, then gender. अभी इसमें फैमिली इनकम वगैरह का कनेक्शन नहीं आएगा क्योंकि दिस इज द ईटिंग हैबिट. वी आर ट्राइंग टू फाइंड आउट एटीट्यूड. समझ में आ रहा है आपको? एटीट्यूड हम लोग फाइंड कर रहे हैं. शैलेंद्र सर, एम आई क्लियर टू यू? Okay. Then you will ask the question like name, age group, then gender. That's it. There is no need to ask about family income or how many dependent on you. But yes, simply you can add how many siblings they have. Why? Because it may have the connection. You can ask the question later on this part in their question. So ये होने के बाद we will focus on the affection towards junk food. So we will start. Do you like junk food? Is it correct? No, it's not correct. You will start like, do you eat junk food? Yes, no. Then, if yes, which type of junk food do you love? What are the reasons do you love the junk food? How frequently do you eat the junk food? Then, how much amount you spent on eating the junk food? What impulses you to buy the junk food? So these can be the questions, open-ended, multiple choice, rank-based, statement-based in your questionnaire, which will give you the answers. Am I reaching to you, dear participants? So this is a questionnaire as a tool of data analysis must be think of properly. That's all from my side. Thank you so much. The forum is open if you want for questions. Yes.
It was really a very wonderful session, madam. And now the question answer session. So I would request the participants to please put in the chat box whatever questions you may have. And madam will pick up few questions of them and will solve your queries accordingly then. So participants, please put the queries in the chat box.
Hope I have not bored you all because it is very difficult to be the second session and pre-lunch session.
No, not at
That
all.
was
In fact, you kept us busy with all the wonderful, say, examples and the PPTs and all other things. So I don't think so. It was the thing. So any participants, any queries, please put it in the chat box.
Yet no queries are coming up. We'll wait for 5 minutes. No queries.
The way you have explained, like it was really, you have simplified well.
Actually,
And
I was
maybe
about to show, but my word is not working. So I have shown the typed one on.
Also, you took up very live examples then, which were very really means reaching to the participants' perspective and to their level of understanding. Like,
Yeah, somebody is asking, can a qualitative data will be converted into quantitative or quantitative in qualitative? No, qualitative data is descriptive and quantitative is in numbers. Yes, but you can frame the questions, depends on you and your topic and the scope of the topic which you were asking to earlier examiner or earlier resource person. Instead of direct questions, is it possible asking questions indirectly? Manali ma'am, can you say what is direct and indirect? I am not understanding. The questions you can ask directly means should not hurt the person, should reflect particular your area or research question. That has to be focused. So, in view of indirect questions, you may not lose the authenticity of your objectives. That is to be seen. Type 1 and type 2 error, that is related to sampling. It's not related to data collection. You have to choose, samples properly. जैसे मैंने क्लियर बता दिया एग्जाम्पल में, if I'm doing a research on study on impact of GST on hotel industry, and I'm taking the feedbacks from the students who even have not bothered कि GST कितना हम लोग पे कर रहे हैं होटल को, और पहले 30% था, अभी 8% आ गया. ये बच्चों को मालूम ही नहीं है और उनसे हम लोग फीडबैक ले रहे, तो हम लोग कैसे पता चलेगा? So this is a type 1 error, selection of wrong samples. आधा अधूरा क्वेश्चन है, लोग भर के छोड़ देते हैं. So that is also a part of error in research. Your questionnaire must be fully filled up. If not, go for editing it. सभी edit करना है, तो there is a need of rewriting the questionnaire. क्योंकि आपका क्वेश्चनेयर बोर हो सकता है लोगों को आंसर्स लिखने के लिए. And that's the reason I have included the concept of pilot study. पहला 1000 लोगों का अगर सर्वे करना है तो एटलीस्ट 100 लोगों का स्टडी करो. 100 लोगों का स्टडी करने के बाद एक वर्किंग रिसर्च पेपर बना दो. Then you will find whether you are using appropriate analysis tools. Are they matching with your questionnaire? Are they matching with your objectives? And are they going to give you good returns of hypothesis? So there is no possibility of plagiarism in questionnaire also. Somebody has asked that question, how to avoid the plagiarism or bias during the questionnaire. So it is you as a researcher, your duty. अभी तो ऑनलाइन में आप लोग लेते हो गूगल फॉर्म पे, but when I was doing my PhD in the year 2012 to 2014, I have taken all my 1000 samples in person mode. 500 customers of 5 banks and 500 employees of same 5 banks. Believe me, I used to sit in a table and a chair and used to appeal the customers of the branches. So slowly they understood that I am doing something research kind of a thing, PhD in banking. And I started interacting with them. And those interactions have helped me to write the findings of the study. So, always it is important to go in person, have an interaction with the respondents. We can say read between the lines and also interact will give you good combination of writing the findings and conclusion for the study. That will also, dear participants, help you to frame certain model or equation, which I did in my PhD, and that equation and model is used by some bank. So that is my another patent. This is the story. So you need to go on field and avoid bias during the questionnaire period. That was the last question.
Yes, ma'am. So very well explained, and it's quite visible that you have solved all the queries of the inquisitive participants then, and it was very well made understood by the participants. So I would say that the overall session was really very like from complex to simple with so many live examples, so many simple examples, and I find that participants must have gained a lot of knowledge in a very simple manner in the term of research. So towards the end of the session, as a session coordinator, I Ms. Pallavi Sonali would like to thank. Yes, ma'am, you were saying something.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the opportunity given, and hope I have really not bored you all. And
Not at all. Like I think participants must have enjoyed the slides and the lively session. Like it
yeah,
seems
because
from the
it was full of images and all.
yes, yes.
Basically, जो मन में आता है मैं बोलना चालू करती हूँ.
Yes, you made it very live, like the junk food example and so many other examples you have given, and also the toy type of shopping and other things which were very relevant. So you very well handled the query session as well. The session throughout was very lively, interesting, and in a much simplified manner it was conducted. So here we are towards the end of the session, and I would like to thank you. Thanks to the resource person for today's session, Dr. Shraddha Bhumi, once again for enhancing our knowledge in the field of research. So I would announce that this session for today is over. Thank you once again. Thank you, madam, and thanks to all the participants.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Shall I leave?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Sure. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Hello. Now, within 5 minutes, we will end the session. So all participants are instructed that tomorrow our sessions will continue and you will be joining 10 minutes before the session. That is at 10:50, and I will be sharing the link on our group. So thank you all. We will be ending the session today.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks to